So with the Genesis, since we're talking about Genesis games and all the great stuff, man, were you into their sports games?
I was. I mean, I don't play as many sports games as I do now, but there were seminal games on this console. I mean, of course, you had the birth of Madden
Mm-hmm.
releasing on there. Now, Madden was also, of course, on the Super Nintendo. But if you were alive during that time and you were watching advertisements, you knew if you wanted sports games, you had to have a Genesis. They
Yep.
weren't even close on the Super Nintendo, like not even in the same realm, at least as far as the advertising would lead you to believe. And personally, I just feel that those games actually were designed and better for the Genesis. Would you agree?
I agree. I agree. I remember popping in John Madden football for the first time and seeing that and seeing my guy get hurt, and then the ambulance would come out
Mm-hmm.
and take him off the
Card them off
field.
the field. Yep. Yep.
There were halftime shows,
Yep.
intermissions. I mean, granted, they didn't have the NFL license, they didn't have the player license, so they were all kind of like generic.
Yeah,
You
the
just had
earlier ones were for sure.
New York or Dallas or Philadelphia, but it still had the John Madden commentary as much as they could add at the time. And then, it was great.
It
Great, great,
certainly
great.
was. Another great football game was the Joe Montana one, which was part of the Sports Talk series. Now, I didn't play all of them, but I was actually very, very good at them. Like I rented them and like I was excellent at those games for some ungodly reason. I have no idea why. No clue. But I was excellent at Sports Talk football.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, the Sports Talk line added way more commentary and play by play than Madden did. And that
Yes, it
was
did.
the one thing that Sega tried to really separate themselves from EA on that aspect. Just hearing, the first time Sports Talk Football came out, it was like there was so much talking.
There was, and it was unique to that console.
It
Like, man,
was.
this is crazy. I can't believe like there's like an announcer. It felt like a real game during that period of
Exactly.
time, you know? And then there was Sports Talk Baseball, which I mean, me personally, I think that's if it's not the best baseball game on the Genesis, it's certainly in the top like 3 baseball games on anybody's list. Sports Talk Baseball is excellent.
What else? But then we had the basketball games. We had Jordan versus Bird, which was the
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one, but it also had the 3-point contest,
Yep.
the slam dunk contest, and then you had Lakers versus Celtics. The EA games in that era were so much fun to play.
Yeah, and of course that turned into NBA Live, which was like a whole nother level. I
Yeah,
remember playing
yeah.
like not Live 95 was like huge, man. Live 95 was everywhere. And not only did the name like sound really good, like Live 95, it was an excellent game and everybody was playing it at that time.
Yep, the NHL games.
Oh, NHL 94.
That's everybody's favorite.
Let me get some of that.
That's everybody's favorite.
Now, I don't even own a copy of that, which is sad. I need to go back. There's some sports games I do need to go back and purchase, and NHL 94 is certainly one of those.
Yeah, you could find that relatively cheap.
Everybody had a copy of it. I'm sure the game is probably like $5 because if you had a Genesis, there was a good chance you had NBA Live 95, NHL 94. So
Yep.
there's plenty of
Yep.
copies to go around. Now, one of my favorite genres in any console during any period of time is action platformers. And in the Genesis case, we have a few, starting with Shinobi.
Ooh, yeah, buddy. Shinobi again. It's another arcade port to the house. It was Shinobi 1 didn't come out on the Genesis. I know it came out on the
Master
Master
System, right?
System.
Okay.
Correct. But it was an arcade game. I remember playing it in the arcade. And then we got Shinobi 2, which technically was called Shadow Dancer. And it gave you the dog that you can kind of send out, which was a lot of fun. And then Shinobi 3, I remember playing. I don't remember Shinobi 3 in the arcade. I don't know if it ever came in the arcade. I think that might have been a Genesis exclusive. Yeah, that's when he rode the horse.
Dude, look, Shinobi 3 is or might be the best looking game on the Sega Genesis. Not only is it fun to play, I can't think in my mind of a game that looks better than Shinobi 3.
It did look good, but if my favorite is 2, is Shadow Dancer.
Really?
I just find so much enjoyment in playing Shadow Dancer.
I played 3, but I've never
others.
played 2. I'm gonna have to go back and try to get a copy of that now.
2 was good, man. with the dog, and you send a dog out and he'll attack an enemy and hold him there until you get there and slice them and stuff.
I feel like you only like that because that other stupid game that was put out by Activision years later.
Oh, see, I was gonna say I liked it because, well, years later we got Dead to Rights with the same dog.
Yeah, Dead to Rights. There you go. Trash. Oh man. I hope that's not the relation in your mind.
We already talked about Dead to Rights and how much I love Dead to Rights.
Not a good game.
Shinobi, any Shinobi game, I always enjoyed.
What did you think when they revived it in the PS2 era? Because I purchased that game. I think I played it, but I don't remember a lot about it. I feel like it was mediocre. Did you enjoy that game on PS2?
I did. And I think it was because it was Shinobi that I kind of automatically liked it because of what it was. And that was when it was, because I want to say, did that come out before Ninja Gaiden for Xbox or after? I can't remember.
It had to be before.
Was it before?
They couldn't have put that out after.
Because
there's no way.
It was, I mean, it was different. He had the whole scarf thing that would left a trail as he ran.
Remember that.
And the more you ran, the longer it got. I'm trying to remember if there was wall run in that, but we got Shinobi remake, and then we also got Nightshade, which was the sequel that had the female ninja.
I forgot about Nightshade. I remember it now that you bring it up, and I forgot all about Nightshade. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Now, this is my question because I don't remember. This was during this time. This was still like people kind of crapped on 2D games for a while, pretty much towards like, PS1, beginning of PS2 era. Was this still during that time? Did they make this game 3D and we're like, oh, Shinobi's 3D now? Or was this still a 2D Shinobi? Because I can't recall.
No, Shinobi was 3D.
It was 3D during the PS2 era.
Oh yeah, it was full 3D. You actually ran around and you kind of ran, did the wall run thing, and no, it was full 3D.
But it wasn't as good as Ninja Gaiden, right? Like it wasn't even close. Like not even on the same level.
No, it wasn't on the same level. It was again, I think it did okay because I mean, you figure Shinobi is huge, in the East. Just the property alone, it was immensely popular, and just to have another Shinobi
song.
Game. Nah.
Swinging swords like Shinobi.
Like Shinobi. See, everybody loves Shinobi, and I think it did okay. And based on what it was the name. I think the name helped it a lot.
Next up is one of my favorites on the console, and this is Kid Chameleon. Now I know you're not familiar with this game, but this game is almost like a fever dream. It's so bizarre and out there and awesome at the same time. So in the beginning of the game, your girlfriend gets stolen. She gets sucked into an arcade machine because you're supposed to go into this video game to save her. It's like it's virtual reality, which was like such a big deal back then.
Like a la Tron.
Something like that, man. It was trippy. But so your goal is to save her. Now they advertised right on the box of the Genesis 100+ levels. They weren't effing kidding, man. This game was. I played this game one day. I was determined. I was like, I'm beating this game today. I had it. I played this game for years. I'm beating this game today. Started the game in the morning, after breakfast, probably I don't know, I was a kid. Let's say 9 a.m. I started playing this game. Played it until 5 or 6 p.m. Couldn't beat it. And you couldn't save, of course, because everybody hated you when you were a child during that period of time. So I played this game for 8 hours straight, or whatever it was, just hours and hours and hours. Wasn't even sure if I was close to the ending. I had to give up. I was like, I got to turn the system off. My eyes felt like they were bleeding. I couldn't take it anymore. I enjoyed it for a while, but I was like, I can't believe how long this game is. But the cool thing is you get different helmets, and your helmets transform who you are, and that transforms your ability. So if you get a samurai helmet, you get a sword. If you get it's like an army skull helmet, you turn into a tank. And you would think that this would be terrible, this would not work, but it worked. All the helmets with the different abilities, they all worked very well. Whoever designed the game was very talented. It's unbelievable how well each of those abilities worked. And if you would find a new helmet, you knew, I'm getting a different ability. What am I going to be able to do with this one?
Yeah, I remember Kid Chameleon coming out. I never owned it. I never bought it, never played it. But I do remember it. I can picture the cover in my head. The kid with the black leather jacket.
Yep, black leather
Yep.
jacket, the skateboard
Yep.
had to have a skateboard then. That was like mandatory. You're making a video game, he better have a skateboard. Now it's like you're making a video game, it better have a gun. There better be a gun on the cover.
There you go.
But yeah, Kid Chameleon was fantastic. There was a lot of platforming in there. Fighting, combat. Bigger combat game for Genesis though with fighting. Streets of Rage is.
Now we're talking. Game. Now we're talking. Streets of Rage. I'm trying to contain my excitement because Streets of Rage. When we saw Streets of Rage, better yet, when you heard Streets of Rage, people were losing their minds because Streets of Rage had an amazing soundtrack.
The first one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a late bloomer to Streets of Rage. I've only recently played Streets of Rage in the past few years. I think I played 2 and 3, and 4 is great.
Oh, 4 is
phenomenal. Play 4?
Yes. Oh,
so yeah. Good. But I did play 2 on, I think it was like Xbox 360. Is that when it got re-released? I think it was on 360.
Okay.
Maybe it was on Xbox One, but I definitely played it within the past few years. I don't understand why I never played that sooner. Like I love Double Dragon, and this shits. I'm sorry, it shits all over Double Dragon.
Oh man, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3 play wise was top notch. But again, I think in my opinion, what really, really drove Streets of Rage, the first one, was that soundtrack.
I don't know that I've played the first one, so I won't say anything about that, but I played 2, 3, and 4. And to me, 2's soundtrack is like the best. Like, not that 3 or 4 was bad, but 2 is like in my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Streets of Rage, it was a side-scrolling, it was very Double Dragon-esque.
But better.
Side-scrolling, but it was better. Way better. Looked better, played better. Same concept. But then you got the special attack, the special weapons. In the first one, Axel, the main guy, he would call in a cop car, and it would come and it would shoot the bazooka, and then the bazooka would come. It was like a napalm, and it would just huge explosion all over the screen and kill everybody around you.
You weren't getting that in Double Dragon, that's for damn sure.
That's for sure.
With Bimmy and Jimmy.
But Double Dragon was fun, man.
Yeah,
without Double Dragon, you wouldn't have got Streets of Rage.
True.
And then and then the second one they changed up. They added a few new characters, and the third one they added a few more characters. And then Streets of Rage that right there was like, I think, the height of the Genesis era. That was like I think that was like the peak, because it's like at that point they were already great. And then we got Streets of Rage, and it just got higher,
So let me see, did that come out with a console release? Let me see. Yeah, so Streets of Rage 2 was a bundle pack in.
Mm-hmm.
That was the third bundle pack in on the Genesis 2, which makes a lot of sense. That game was like, honestly, it was the biggest game since like Sonic 1 or Sonic 2.
What? Yep.
It was a reason to own a Genesis. It was, that was one of the instances where you can point at Super Nintendo and be like, you don't have this, just like they could with like the Mario games.
Yeah, I think the closest thing they had was Final Fight.
It's not close.
I could be wrong. I know I'm missing.
But to be all right, let's put things into a little bit of context for fighting games. This is a brawler. It's very different. But Super Nintendo did have Street Fighter, the superior version of Street Fighter. So you got to get what you can take,